Evening, Joe. How you doing, Joe? Haven't spoken to you for a while. Currently smoking my Morning Suffolk, my new Stanwell, which I received today from the Danish pipe shop. It's an estate pipe. Hi, happy smoking. When I unpacked it earlier on, I did a package opening earlier on. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I didn't realise how slender and long and sleek that stem is. It's really nice. It's in pretty good condition. A little bit of a char on the rim, but a lovely pipe nonetheless. And I've just finished a wedding. It's 1:45 in the morning. And I'm pretty pumped. Very, very lively wedding. My ears are ringing. And I said to myself, perfect time for a cigar. Only problem is, I've got no cigar with me. So I was sorting out my EDC pipe bag earlier, and luckily I packed in some of the new 1820 flake, and it's just the ticket at the moment. Ordinarily, after a wedding, I would have had a cigar, no doubt. But this hits the spot very nicely. So what's everybody been up to these days? Well, today anyway. Anybody care to say anything? Are you guys typing? I'm not seeing any text at all. Some golden extra, nice. You're working on an intro video, Suffolk. Very cool. I wish I had the skill to do that. I mean, I haven't really tried. I do have one which was made by Josh, by Pipe Grump. But to be honest, I don't use it very often these days, because for the most part I use iMovie on the phone nowadays to do my videos. It's so quick to stitch a few clips together and save it and upload it. I used to struggle so much with the videos with different phones and, you know, Samsungs or Androids anyway, just to try and be able to stitch multiple, to be able to pause in the middle of a video and carry on recording. But with iMovie, it's so simple. It's so simple and straightforward. You know, that's probably why I'm outputting so many videos these days. It's just so easy. Oh, I see what you mean, your first video into the YTPC. Good for you. Well, there's not much to it really. Just what you got to do is really have a pipe, maybe show people the pipe that you're smoking, the tobacco you're smoking, talk about it a little bit, say a little bit about yourself, and don't worry that there might be millions of people watching you. But if you do, give me a heads up and I'll do you a shout out so people will know and get to know your channel and you get some subs. Just let me know once you've uploaded it, or if you want to message me that you are about to upload it, and I'll keep an eye out for it. I passed a police car before and I had both phones going. One of them slightly larger, so I was using it for reading the text, but obviously I need to focus on my driving. But if I spot a cop car, I might just turn off in the middle. Although I'm not touching the screen, but I suppose technically they could do me for driving with undue care and attention, which I'm being very careful not to. When I buy an estate pipe, as I'm smoking now, this Stanwell for the first time, one of my biggest worries is always the possibility of it having a dodgy ghosting. Yeah, Tim, I'm sure you're right. I probably shouldn't do it. I don't do it very often in life, very rarely actually. But just finished, as I say, just finished a wedding and just fancied having a chat really. If you see me driving erratically, tell me and I'll stop, but hopefully we'll be alright. Anyway, so as I was saying, as I'm smoking this Stanwell for the first time, it's actually smoking pretty well. I'm always nervous that the pipe might have a ghosting which I don't like. So in the beginning when I was smoking aromatics a lot of the time, I think the most common ghosting that I got was Latakia. And I really didn't like Latakia in the beginning. You can't do lives on a phone if you've got less than 1,000 subscribers, I think. But if you've got more, then you can, as far as I know. So oftentimes I would get a Latakia ghosted pipe and I'd get pretty upset and maybe pass the pipe on. Nowadays my biggest fear is getting a pipe with a Lakeland ghosting. Because even an Exorcist won't get that flavour out of a pipe. As I've discovered to my bad luck, a couple of my own pipes smoked Lakeland in them maybe once or twice and they're ghosted. I think I smoked Enadale in them and maybe Bossy Flake or something like that. A Lakeland blend otherwise known as granny pants, is an English tobacco. English with a small e, in other words, not Latakia based necessarily. They're an English tobacco which has been cased with a floral essence, but it's not just floral. It's, some people call it soapy sort of essence. It's a very, very floral, potpourri, disgusting kind of flavor. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's I call it a Marmite blend. Some people love it. You either love it or you hate it. My wife loves Marmite. I hate the stuff. I think the only Lakeland that I can stomach maybe once or twice a year is Ennerdale. I do find that Ennerdale has got something else going. Turkish Delight, yeah. Except Turkish Delight's got sugar in it and it's a sweet, which makes up for it. Yeah, so Ennerdale I can cope with once in a blue moon, because I find it has other stuff going on for it besides for that floral. It's got a bit of a Bakewell tart, amaretto sort of flavour going on together with the Lakelands, which somehow tempers that flavour, and I can cope with it maybe for a half a bowl once or twice a year. I opened one tin once, and I've got a little jar of it, and every once in a blue moon I might take a whiff of it and then put it back without smoking it. A lot of the Gareth Hogarth blends are Lakelands. I think there's Grassmore, Bothy Flake. A lot of the if you go on to GQ Tobaccos and check out Gareth Hogarth, you'll see. Yeah, number 7. Yeah, number 7 Broken Flake is probably the first Lakeland I ever tried. In fact. I got that on my first visit to Blakemar Briars. If you have a look way back on my channel, you'll see my first visit there. I got Mike to polish up a few pipes that I was putting up for sale. I think that was probably my first pipe sale, in fact. And he smokes a mixture of Erinmore and number 7 Broken Flake, which he loves it. And last time I was there on my second visit, I gave him a bunch of Erinmore, some aged Erinmore. But that's what he smokes, and he smokes it all the time. That's like a codger blend for him. He's got a little plastic pouch, which he has in his breast pocket of his overall, and that's what he smokes. I think he's probably got a few pipes knocking about the place. It is quite floral. It's not as floral as some to my palate, but it is a Lakeland without a doubt. Eldrat, the petrol station is closed. I'm very low on petrol. Oh well, tomorrow morning is another day. My stupid ladder is banging about in the back of the car. Sorry about the noise. Any of you guys tried the 1820 flake yet? No, I'm not far from home at all. I'm about 30 seconds away. Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. If you've seen my video, that was my conclusion as well. I think that GQ Tobaccos has re-upped. They're back in stock. He had a load of 500 gram bags, so he should have plenty. I think it'll be a fairly straightforward blend to get in future in the UK. All right. What do you think of it, Tim? Home sweet home. Yeah, me too, Tim. I agree with you totally. It's close enough. It's definitely got the same DNA, you know, it's got the same flavor profile. Might not be as rich, but without a doubt, it has the same profile. Don't think anybody can doubt that. Yeah, it is a fairly dense neighbourhood, yeah, I guess so. That's London for you. Not enough space, and everybody wants to be in London. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I don't think those additives are what actually affect the flavour. I keep saying I will, but I will put in a call to Jermaine's and have a chat with them and find out about it. My inkling is that the additives will be things like humescence and that kind of thing, because if you think about it, Penzance, it contains Virginia, Orientals, and Latakia for the most part. And that's it. There's no flavorings in it. It's an English tobacco. You know, it's a pure tobacco. Maybe, but it doesn't look like it. You know, the tobacco looks really similar. And it may well need to build up a cycle. I would imagine that with Penzance, they've built up a cycle so that, you know, they may well have stocks of 3 or 4 years building up, and they release a year's worth each time. And when they release 1 year's, they're already making another batch ready for release, say in 3 or 4 years' time. Whereas with this blend, they probably haven't yet built up that backlog to allow it to age enough. I would imagine that it come 3 or 4 years' time, it'll already taste richer, fresh from the shop. I'm going to ask these questions to Jermaine, see if he'll give me the information. The times I've spoken to him several times, and they're never really keen on giving out any real information, just basic facts, but no No real indication in terms of the contents and things like that, ingredients and that kind of thing. I tried to high pipes. I tried to get to the bottom of whether or not there was any real difference between Stonehaven and Rich Dark Flake. Because although I did a back-to-back a long time ago, it was really negligible, the difference, if any, and it may have just been my mind playing tricks with me. Some people swear that there is a difference. I did at the time describe a slight difference, but I think the difference between Stonehaven and Rich Dark Flake is even less significant than the difference between 1820 Flake and Penzance. So I phoned them up and I asked Robert Germain if they are one and the same thing. And the answer he gave me was pretty much what's being said about the 1820 and Penzance, which is they are essentially the same blend, minus a very slight change in ingredients because of the licensing agreements. Evening Cigar Fan. Yeah, Rich Dark Flake, I can take it or leave it these days. I used to smoke it a lot more. I'm not a big fan at the moment. I'm not a fan. It is nice. I love actually smelling the aroma more than anything else. What? Seriously? Wow. Bengal slices I tried a long time ago. At the time I did like it. And I think that there's probably a video on my channel going back some. I do have a tin. Which I think I got from Danny Shaw, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't cracked it. Pretty much, there was a time where, like now, I'm game for any kind of Virginia or Virginia Perique, and I'll try them. There was a time when I would try any Latakia-based blend, and I would have cracked that Bengal slices without hesitation. But nowadays, I'm quite content with just smoking one or two Latakia blends. And I think 1820 is currently going to be my regular Latakia smoke, even more so than Stonehaven. Northwoods. Christmas cheer is awesome. Which year did you get to trade it for? Oh, wow. Escudo bit you, really? I'm not a fan of Escudo, I must be honest. I much prefer Navy rolls. Escudo doesn't work for me. I find it to be a little bit too rough around the edges. I've got something which I mentioned the other day, St James Wood, which I'm just working my way through a tin of McClellan St James Wood. That stuff is awesome. Well, I'm not sure who did the better deal there, Kevin. An 8-ounce bag of Stonehaven for a 20-year-old McLaren blend. Well, I guess which one depends which one is more important to you, I guess. But that's a fairly hefty trade. Juanito, how you doing? And a tin of Margate you gave as well, or you received? Actually, I am around tomorrow. I might actually be at St James's tomorrow. You gave? Oh my gosh, Kevin. Well, look, I don't know who am I to talk. You know, if that's what works for you, if that's what you wanted, then good for you. Have you smoked the Christmas cheer? Remind me, Juanito, which limited edition is that? Regios. Oh, is that Don't tell me. Hang on. Punch, right? Okay, you told me. Did any of you guys catch Mike Briar Blues' slow smoke yesterday? Juanito, you can be in touch with me tomorrow on Messenger if you like, or by email. Road Glide Sully. Fit. I'm jealous. I'm kind of not sure if I've passed my midlife crisis yet or not, but I did have a temptation to ride a bike. My son is a bike rider. He's got a mean machine. I think it's a Yamaha. I can't remember. I might be wrong. Might be a Kawasaki. Makes me nervous. Yeah, exactly, Glide. Exactly. He's got a bunch of mates that they go out with every so often. And they do stupid speeds, as you'd expect when they're out together. Kevin, that's the only way. That really is the only way. Occasionally you can be lucky when sites like Tobacco Pipes, you know, if you go on their waiting list, you get the email. If you're really quick, you might be lucky and grab a bag, but that's a difficult way to do it, and you've got to be available on a moment's notice. The best and only way that I've had success is through unfortunately it means making regular purchases. You know, they've got to feel that they want to service you as a customer, and that's what I had with Boswell's. Nowadays I haven't got a chance in hell of getting any of those unicorn blends from them because I don't buy my pipes there anymore. But it's absolutely true. It's the only way. Hey, David. I mean, even with GQ Tobaccos, no unicorn blends there, but well, I suppose 1820 might have been, but hopefully it won't be. But he's so accommodating. Okay, I'm a regular customer, but he's so accommodating. And if he's got something there, and some days I haven't got spare money available on my account, he'll set it aside for me. I even once asked him to set something aside for me, and I said to him I'll pay him next Monday, and he sent it to me though. He sent it to me without payment. That's the kind of relationship that you can build up with people, and he's great. And obviously, I paid him on the Monday. The relationship wouldn't work if it was only one way. Oh wow, that's lucky, Meeks. You can get lucky that way, sure. I'm not sure if I've made the right choice smoking Latakia blend with this pipe. It's a lovely pipe, I've got to say. It's a gorgeous pipe. Nice one, Suffolk. It's my first smoke in this pipe, and it's really nice. It's very nicely balanced. Got a gorgeous draw. When I pick up a good pipe, hey Chris English, when I pick up a good pipe, something, especially if it's got an adornment, a band, an insert, maybe silver, maybe acrylic, or a wood insert, something that I haven't tried doing yet, I do feel a little bit like I'm wasting my time. There's so many skilled people out there. But I guess slow steps. We'll get there eventually. The weather's been okay. I mean, it's been wet. It was wet earlier on. I wasn't able to take any outdoor shots of the bride and groom because of the weather, which is a shame. Nice one, Kevin. Sounds like a nice smoke you got there. The Country Squire really looks like a cool tobacconist, I must say. Yeah, I want a police stakeout. Just give me the steak, never mind the police. Tim, I see you've been enjoying that mirror that you bought at the pipe show, that basket weave one. It really is colouring up something special. Sorry, David, which pipe are you talking about? I must be honest, Tim, that the club pipe, that's the only meerschaum I've got left now, because I traded my other one. If it's colouring up, that's a sign of a good quality meerschaum. Sorry, David, your typos are making it a bit difficult for me to understand what you're trying to say. Which pipe are you talking about, David? You talking about the one that I'm smoking now? Prince pipe. I'm trying to remember which pipe you're referring to. I'm still yet to get a Vaughan pipe or Faun pipe. Excuse me while I take a little gurgle of some Diet Coke. Hey, how you doing, Mel, my friend? How you doing, Bona Piper? Excuse me. I really shouldn't be drinking Diet Coke. I'll never get to bed. Is it a straight or a bent pipe, Meeks? I've never tried one of those, Tim, the Auenland Meerschaums. Yeah, I really am very careful when I buy a bent 9mm pipe. And for the most part, I'll usually either make sure that I'll get the seller, whoever it is, to shine a torch down the shank so I can see it before I buy it. I would say that I wouldn't like to put a percentage on it, but I would say that the majority of bent pipes with 9mm filters don't smoke as they should. A bent pipe is a difficult pipe to drill, to get it, and it's very rarely central at the bottom of the shank of the 9mm cavity. Very rarely at the bottom. I had a Vulcan pipe, which I bought from the Danish pipe shop a while back. You guys will have seen it. Lovely pipe. Typical Italian Ascolti Caminetto kind of rustication, Sea-Rock rustication. Absolutely adored it. It was like a Hungarian shape. The problem was the draft hole was halfway up the 9mm cavity. So the bottom of the filter actually hit wood, and the hole was halfway up. So you just couldn't draw through it. It was impossible. They gave it to, I sent it back, and they gave it to Tom Eltang to try and get it going. And they sent it back to me, and it still didn't work. Actually, my Savinelli is a 606, which is quite a similar shape. Actually, that one smokes very well. Meeks, it's got nothing to do with the filter. It's got really nothing to do with the filter. It's to do with the drilling. I use Vaughan filters all the time. That's my standard. It's really nothing to do with the filter. It's just to do with how they drill the pipe. Because a pipe that's very bent is just going to have trouble getting the drill bit down there to meet the bottom of the bowl. No, David, I'm sorry, I don't. Hi, Daniel, how you doing? Well, I'm just on the way back after a wedding, and I thought I'd get on for a chat. I've arrived home, and rather than cutting it short and knocking you guys off while I get indoors, I thought I'd just sit outside, relax, enjoy my pipe and talk to you guys. Definitely been enjoying the pipe more than cigars at the moment. Don't know why. I would always have taken a cigar with me when I went to a wedding, but I decided on the 1820 and it's working, it's doing the job, I must say. Thank you, Tim. No worries, Tim. Did that pipe from Tommy arrive yet? Oh, nice. I hope it works out for you. Are you only smoking filters these days, Tim? Because it's probably worth converting. I think the original stem, he said, had a filter, no? Or am I wrong? I mean, the new stem he had done on that, it is a filter pipe. Are you sure that's the case on the new stem? Ah, if it's a filter pipe, I should have kept it. Just kidding. Enjoy it, Tim. I think the original stem was a filtered stem, and the new stem is not, but I might be wrong. Either way, I hope it gives you many years of satisfaction. Daniel, my favourite tobacco, as I said to you last night on Mike's video, is generally the one that's in my pipe. Not always the case, but my favourite pipe of that moment is the one that's in my pipe. Right now it's 1820 flake, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly. Good for you, David. I've been enjoying your pictures on Instagram. I subscribed to you. I followed you the other day. You've got some lovely pictures. Night, Tim. Otherwise, if I had to name a favourite tobacco, whilst I'm thinking about that, I'd like to know if all of you can name a favourite tobacco. A one single tobacco that you can say 100% is your favourite tobacco. Off you go. Well, you could frame it in a different way. You could say that if you were on a desert island and you had to have one tobacco only, that would be possibly an easier way to narrow it down. Boswell's Best for Meeks, Old Gowrie for Garbage Man Piper. Good tobaccos there, guys. Boswell's Best, Garth and Hogarth Brown Flake, Jermaine's Brown Flake for Chris. Boswell's Best for Meeks. Boswell's Best, I do have some of that. I can't remember what it is though. Is that a Latakia blend? I don't remember if it's a Latakia or an aromatic. Autumn Evening, that's a good choice. That's a Latakia, isn't it? It's been a while since I've smoked that one. Aromatic, right. Rich Dark Flake for Suffolk. Good call. Good shout. don't know why the package for 50 grams is changed, came in vacuum pack. Do you mean a pouch, a plastic pouch? They've stopped doing tins now. Oh right, I'm mixing it up with Anyway, yeah, I know what you mean with the maple flavour. I've got some of that as well somewhere knocking about. There's another blend, I think it's got evening in it as well, and it's a Latakia blend. So by the way, David, if you're thinking of cellaring that, maybe vacuum pack it or stick it in an airtight container. According to Robert Germain, he said to me that ideally the pouches are good for about 3 to 5 months. After that, they will start to sort of allow air in or air out. Although having said that, I've got some pouches which are 20, 30 years old, and although I haven't opened them yet, they do feel fine. That's what he said to me anyway. That's what Robert Germain said to me. Don't open it. I mean, you could open it and jar it, but if you like the idea of keeping it in the original pouch, keep it in there, but vacuum pack it or stick it in an airtight mason jar, or get a big one of these big 2 or 3 litre mason jars, and just keep all your sealed pouches in one of those. You're fine. You'll be fine. Hey, my first cigar. Thanks for joining. Daniel, do I like aromatics? I do, but I must be honest. My tongue has become my palate has become quite fussy, and I don't really enjoy the alcoholic metallic flavor you get from the artificial flavorings. And I'd much sooner go for a real aromatic, which is something like an Oriental or a Latakia blend, which is the original aromatic blends. A crossover blend, Daniel, is essentially a blend which will say be an aromatic, for example, but it will also contain some Latakia. So it'll give you an introduction into another genre of tobacco. So it'll be a crossover blend. So it's not necessarily all aromatic or all Latakia, but it's somewhere in between. So it gives you a bit of both worlds that you could sort of dip your toe in. Absolutely. Erin Moore flake or Erin Moore mixture, there's not a hint of artificial flavors. It's just the flavor is there and it stays consistent, and there's no sort of alcoholic flavor, there's no metallic flavors. That's why I like it. No, there's definitely aromatics and aromatics, Suffolk. I think it's all a matter of personal taste at the end of the day. When I first started with Boswell's, my go-to blend was No Bite Delight. And I still have a jar of it, but I can't remember the last time I smoked it. I enjoy the flavor, but it too soon starts to give me the artificial flavors, which I never detected in the beginning. I used to rave about Boswell aromatics because of how good they were and because I wasn't getting those flavors. But nowadays, when I'm so used to smoking English tobaccos, I can now detect that too easily, and I just don't enjoy it. I think I have done one in the past, my first cigar. I've certainly done it in one of the lives. But perhaps I'll do one in the near future. Absolutely, Kevin. That's what this is all about. This is the beauty of the YTPC, without a doubt. They're okay, but they're pretty meh for me. I must be honest. Most Christmas editions, I must be honest. You know, even GQ Tobacco's Christmas tobacco, I bought a couple of pouches of it, but I just I don't think it's great. It's okay, but I don't think it's great. And you know, I don't like to diss anybody's product, but I try to be as straight as I can so that people can trust my opinion on the reviews that I do. So I try to be as straight as possible without being unkind. My favourite pipe shape is actually pipe that I'm smoking right now. I'll give you another peek at it. I just received this earlier today. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is it's struggling to focus. Hang on. I haven't got enough light in here, I'm afraid. You can just about make out the shape. It's quite sleek. It's almost a pot shape on the bowl. This is a Stanwell. It's a 9mm. I'm sorry it's not focusing very well. It's just too dark, I think, despite having the lights shining on it. Hang on. That's a bit better. So it's like quite a flat pot, almost a squashed apple, with a really nice, long, slender stem, and it just smokes very well. And this, I would say, is my favorite shape. That and straight pipes. I just get too frustrated and disappointed with bent pipes. It's quite the actual bowl itself is wideish. I would guess it's about a 21mm. I haven't measured it. It's probably a 21mm bowl. It's got nice thick walls. I wouldn't call it a squash tomato simply because the walls aren't bulbous. You know, they're not rounded. The outside walls, it goes straight down. So it's really a pot. It smokes very well. It's the first time I'm smoking it, and I'm in love with it. I'm coming towards the end of the bowl, so it's whistling a bit. Like I said before, I'm not sure if I made the right decision smoking a Latakia blend in it. Actually, Chris, yeah, you're absolutely right. I've been wanting to get a Lovat for a long time. I have a Lovat which is not filtered. It's my Soren Refberg one, the one with the green sort of band on it. Absolutely adore that pipe, but I don't smoke it anymore. This is an estate pipe which I picked up on the Danish pipe shop. It took them a little bit longer to send it, as I recall from previous purchases. Usually with Danish pipe shop, I would usually get it within 2 or 3 days. It took them about a week this time, but I think it's because they now have a cheaper option for shipping for the UK for €10, and it used to be quite a bit more. So it's reasonable enough that it takes a couple of days longer. I do like bulldog shapes, Daniel. I've got a couple. Obviously the hi Chad. Obviously hi Sam. Yeah, it's in good condition, Bona. I've got a Boswell Bulldog, which is really nice, but it's not filtered. And of course I've got the Neerup Bulldog. I've never heard that one. Doublet shape. Cross between a Dublin and a Lovat. Cool. Hey Jordan. Bulldogs is a quintessential English shape. And it is very nice, especially when you look at it from when you have the back of the bowl facing you, and you see that beautiful way it sort of curves around to a sharp point at the bottom on the stommel. I think that's great. Good night, Mel. Thanks for joining. I hear that means 2x4 sticking out your mouth. Get one slightly bent. Get a slightly bent one, and you'll be good to go. Yes, Sam, you're the second person to ask that. We're on a stakeout. I've just come home after a wedding, and I started this live whilst driving. I've arrived home, and rather than cut you guys off, I'm just enjoying the rest of this bowl, and I'm just having a chat with you guys. Black Cavendish, it depends if it acts as a carrier for a casing or not, but otherwise Black Cavendish hasn't got a huge flavour. It tends to smooth out a blend and fill out a blend. Yeah, I do look at Mike's pipes once in a while, but I'll be honest with you, that he's got stunning pipes. I can't afford them most of the time, and most of the time they're not 9mm. So my favourite pipe shape in general will be the shape that I just showed you. And this and straight pipes, but this shape very slightly bent simply because I think aesthetically it's a little bit more attractive. But essentially this shape or a straight pipe is my favourite shape at the moment. I did see the upside down pipe, Daniel. Interesting. No, I've not purchased a pipe from Pipe Divan. Where are they based? Cheers, Sam. Have a good one. What's B and C mean? Oh, Black Cavendish. I don't know the answer to that, David. I'm not aware if there's a difference or not, to be honest. Daniel, no, not all tobaccos have a casing. English tobaccos, by definition, although nowadays it's become a generic term for Latakia blends, but it's not. The original term English tobacco means a tobacco which is pure. So it could be a blend of tobaccos, but without any flavorings. Meeks, my experience, I'm not a huge Meerschaum smoker, so I can't really say. But for me, I would say that pipe filters filter a pipe better, but I think Meerschaum pipes give you a purer taste of the tobacco. Yeah, but the casing is not flavored. They'll all generally have some kind of humescent in them, and possibly some sweetener, but not flavorings. And if you call a flavor, a sweetener, an aromatic, then technically all tobaccos are aromatic. Yeah, I do have a Meerschaum. The one Meerschaum that I have is a 9mm Meerschaum, and it really does smoke very nicely, I must say. I should really smoke it more often. But I'll be honest with you, even though that it's the club pipe from 2018, the Pipe Club of London, it's a glorious pipe. And even though I do enjoy smoking it, I actually find I prefer briar. I prefer the flavour that briar lends to the tobacco. I find it rounds off the flavours very well. Meerschaum, it does get to the crux of the blend. And so, you know, if you've got a particular tobacco where you really, really like the actual pure flavours, then a Meerschaum's going to do it for you. It does absorb nicotine, yeah, it's true. I haven't tried the Churchwarden, no. I really would like to trade it, to be honest, with somebody, because it's not filtered. I think in America you might struggle to get Turkish Meerschaum block. I don't think it's legal in America. But have you tried Vermont Freehand? I don't know if they do. But you'd certainly be able to get it on eBay and places like that, I would have thought. I'm pretty sure I've seen them on eBay. And otherwise, you just find Turkish websites. It's a different kettle of fish though, Jordan, Meerschaum. Well, you might find if you go for a Meerschaum mix that you might be converted and find that you want to change all your pipes to Meerschaum. Bremen pipe smoker, he smokes Meerschaums pretty much all the time. I would want to change quite a few of them, Daniel. I have sold off most of my non-filtered pipes, but I do still have a few. And one of them would be that beautiful Soren Refberg Lavat, but it just can't be done. It's too small. Yeah, those ones have got the what's his name stems, haven't they? The Eldritch, is it Eldritch stems? Those are really nice. I think Tim's got one of those. Well, you need enough girth on the shank to accommodate the cavity for the filter. So, on average, you'd need I would say a minimum of about 14 or 15 mil. Probably a bit more to comfortably accommodate a filter. Yeah, well, I've done quite a lot of them with Ian Walker at Northern Briars. I did a few with Moretti pipes, and I've done a few myself now. although not from brand new stem blank. I did make my own stem for the first time the other day, but I kind of had to give it up because I had some issues with it. That is actually a very cool idea, Jordan. I actually wanted, I actually asked Phil Rivara to do that for me for the calabash that I got from him. So basically, just to take out the original stem from a pipe and make a capsule that goes in between, which will take the filter, which will also then have a tenon on the end of it, which will go into the existing mortise. So that way, the original stem can still work on the pipe, and you can use it with a filter. That's really, that would be an amazing thing, but that's quite a lot of work involved in that. Cheers, Kevin. Thanks for joining. I enjoyed your chatting. Do you normally get tongue bites, David? It's okay, the Moretti mortar pipe. It's just not one that I turn to regularly. I did put it in my last sale, and I may well do that again. But I don't know. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with my mortar pipe, the one that I made. Really happy with how it came out, but I haven't decided if I'm going to give it away or smoke it. I've still got the larger half of that piece of mortar, so I might only decide once I've made the second half to see what I want to do with it. Yeah, me too, David. That's why I smoke 9mm. As soon as I moved over to 9mm pipes, tongue bite was a thing of the past. Yeah, matching tampa is nice. Well, they say a Meerschaum pipe smokes a lot drier, so you may well get away with it. But I still use a 9mm in my Meerschaum. Not Suffolk. I'm not. You may be right, Chad. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that there was some issue. Maybe it was just general trade. You might be right. I'm sure you are. The majority of Savinellis are 6mm. If you're happy to smoke a Bolsa filter, then 6mm, then Savinelli is the way to go. You got a huge range of pipes with 6mm. You can get 6mm charcoal filters as well. That's the Elephant range. Can't remember the full name of it, but they're harder to come by and they're quite expensive. So I haven't bothered even started. I haven't even gone there. Good night, Meeks. All the best. Yeah, that makes sense, Bonapiper. No sweat, Jordan. It should solve your tongue bite as well, but I haven't got any experience with that myself, but I don't see why it wouldn't. The only thing which makes sense is what Bonapiper says, is that the airflow might be a bit restricted, and also I guess the capacity for it will be less because it's a smaller filter. So it could be that if you're smoking a large bowl of tobacco and it's a particularly wet tobacco, or you are a particularly wet smoker, you might find that it becomes sort of flooded and it starts to leach after a while. I think most people use filters 4 or 5 times. I don't. I only use them once, generally speaking, unless when I sometimes go in the car and I only take one pipe with me. So I might have 3 or 4 bowls in the same pipe and leave the filter in. But generally speaking, I change every time, and that's why I'm forever running out of filters. I just recently got another box of 180. I buy the 180 box usually, and I'm already a good ways through the box. I have to start buying a few boxes at a time, I think. I was a bit spoilt when I first started because I went to the Esrati sale around that time, and Karen Esrati gave me a bag. I think they were quite old. They must have been from his collection, from Mordecai Esrati's collection. It was a bag of 200 filters. I can't remember which ones they were, and that just lasted me forever. It seemed to go on forever. But once that finished, I've basically committed to the Vaughan Dr. Pearl Jr. ones, the ones in the purple box. I get the 180 boxes. They cost on GQ Tobaccos about £14–15 for a box. I seem to get through them pretty quickly though. Yeah, I've used the Stanwell ones. I think they're the same, to be honest. I think they're the same filter. It wouldn't surprise me if they're exactly the same, even if they're made by Vaughan. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah, very possible, Daniel. It sounds like too much faff for me. It's just not worth it. Wow, that is expensive. I thought £14–15 for 180 was expensive, but you can't get them cheaper than that. David, you're absolutely right. When I was before I went over to 9mm, I smoked Latakia because that was the coolest, and that was the only tobacco that I could really manage. I smoked Northwoods for quite a long time because that's really the one that I could manage without a filter. But even that, after a few bowls, my tongue would start to hurt. Yeah, the contents would be the same. They're just little cylindrical sort of bits of charcoal. That's all it is. Aromatic would definitely bother me without a filter, more so than anything else, because the alcohol and flavorings and toppings in there, they just burn hot, and they boil up literally when you're smoking. It's the moisture, it's the vapor that comes off the tobacco that really burns your tongue. Yeah, the steam, the vapor, absolutely. When you if you take a tobacco, even one that doesn't bite you normally, and you smoke it too fast and you let it get really hot, what you're actually doing is the heat is drawing out the moisture, and that moisture is literally bubbling, and you're drawing the vapor in from that boiling sort of juices, and that's what's going to burning your tongue. You should keep a log of the questions you asked, Daniel. You've asked me this one before. Not at all. I don't find it has any problem at all. I don't get a restricted draw. I don't get an issue with the smoke output, anything like that. And I say, if I have a problem with the draw, I just pack the bowl lighter to compensate. David, you'd be surprised the things that I do behind my camera. Meerschaum filters? No, I've never experienced that. The 200 pack that I was talking about, that one I think was Meerschaum or ceramic filters. I never got dust with those. I've never seen dust in any filters at all. The only thing I can think of is that maybe your batch, excuse me, that your batch has been crushed or something like that, or shaken around, and the charcoal's just been sort of breaking down maybe, and so you're ending up with charcoal dust. Yeah, Chad. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? Seriously, Daniel, come on, you know that much already. Yeah, I don't recall having an issue with Stanwell filters at all. And I don't recall having an issue with the Peterson ones either. I don't seem to have a problem with filters generally. I think that over the time, my method for packing the bowl has become such that I pack it really, really lightly, no matter which tobacco I've got, and I adjust afterwards when I tamp. So if I find it's too light, I'll tamp it and compact the tobacco a bit more. And if I find that it's already, smoking well and the draw is good, then I'll tamp very lightly. And in fact, many times I'll just not tamp, and I'll when I light, I'll make sure that the light is good and deep. And oftentimes I can go half a bowl without tamping. You just get used to it. You find what works for you, and you can adjust on the fly. Most times. Sometimes you pack it wrong, and you just gotta realize it and admit it and just redo it, or just stick a poker in there and shift it about a bit. But generally speaking, you learn to adjust. But by default, I pack my bowls light and adjust afterwards. Yeah, David, as I say, that 200 pack that I had originally was ceramic on both ends, or Meerschaum on both ends, or that, something like that. And then when I went over to Vaughan and it had the one side plastic, and I thought to myself, am I going to see any difference? Absolutely not. I think it's just a mind over matter, you know. I think it makes zero difference. You might feel it's a little bit more organic if you have the Meerschaum one, but I think it's just an aesthetic thing. Makes no difference at all. I mean, there is a consideration that the Meerschaum ones will absorb that little bit more because it's Meerschaum on both ends. But you know, the filter, you've got about 1.5 inches of filter and maybe 1 millimeter on each end of Meerschaum. What's that going to do in reality? And it's got holes in that Meerschaum. So realistically speaking, that Meerschaum is going to do zero, virtually zero in terms of absorption. Meerschaum line pipes, I haven't really been impressed with them. Oh wow, it's 2:10 already. I promised myself that I'd get to bed as soon as I come home from this wedding, but got carried away as usual. Alright people, I've really enjoyed this chat. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. I wish you all a wonderful, very pleasant rest of your day or tomorrow morning, and I will catch you on the very next one. So thank you, David, Pipes, Kiss English or Chiz, David, Jordan, Daniel, Bonapiper, Chad, and everybody else. Thank you very much. Have an awesome evening, night, morning, afternoon, and I'll catch you on the next one.